Welcome back to the channel, guys. This is VIN 0872872. It is a 2016 223, which is Caviar with LA20 black interior. Popped up at IAAI Insurance Salvage Auction in Maryland with 96,000 miles hit in the left front. Now this car has a pretty interesting story, and so we'll get into that here as to why this car is here. Not sure if it's going to have a clean title yet or not, or is just considered a total loss vehicle. There is a difference, but it looks like it's probably gonna have a salvage title, and we'll get into that here in a minute. First and foremost, production statistics. 448 out of the 2,347 cars were Caviar. Of those, 225 had LA20 black interior, which is like a 2 or 3 out of 10, maybe a 3. 9.58% of all production was black on black, very common. For 2016, 284 out of the 1,417 cars were Caviar, 148 of them had LA20 black interior. Carfax, Epic VIN, Auto Check. Carfax shows this as a 2-owner, 3 accident or damage reported, but the last one to the left front shown as moderate, and that of course is why it's here. It was damaged while under the control of Lexus. It was in getting serviced at Lexus for a fuel pump, low pressure fuel pump replacement, and it was damaged while it was there. Doesn't give any other details other than maybe it was sitting on a corner and somebody came around the corner and just took off the corner in the front end. Maybe somebody took it out on a test drive. There's no details, but I would love to be a fly on the wall when that happened. Epic VIN shows this as a 2-owner, 1 accident car, and it shows December 19th, 2025, just a couple weeks ago. That's probably when it was moved to this auction. Auto Check shows this as a 2-owner, 1 accident, and it's not this one, so it's a different accident. Definitely it looks like it's a 2-owner, 2 or 3 accident type of car, and it looks like one of them was damage reported and it doesn't give any other info or anything like that. Previous sales. So this car went on sale February of 2016, $88,000 in Washington State. It sold 2 months later in April of 2016. 2 years later, it's depreciated $32,000, $33,000. Also for sale in Washington, February 2018 with 9,300 miles, and it sold in under a month, that was where the second owner acquired it. And now here at the beginning of 2026, end of December 2025, it was in IAAI in Maryland with no scheduled date. They're still waiting on a title. So onto the photos. We'll get to the exterior here in a minute, but the interior looks fantastic. It has the typical what you would see, the delaminating carbon fiber, but like the interior's clean, it looks well kept. I don't see any significant type of wear, especially for a car with 100,000 miles. It looks really in great shape. So the exterior, the whole reason this car is probably considered a total loss is the headlight and the grille, because you've heard me talk about it in other videos. The front ends of these cars, just a light parking lot tap to the front end can total these cars because of the grille. The grille is $12,000, $13,000, and the headlight is like $3,500, $3,700. If you combine just those two pieces, you're talking, and paint and labor and everything else, like it's easily over $20,000 of damage. And so this one you have to add in a wheel, maybe suspension damage, the fender, the bumper cover, the grille surround, that's $700. You could easily see where there's $30,000. If you have to pay retail prices for replacement parts and labor, it's easily $30,000 worth of damage on this car. So that brings me to the price. This car, if this was a clean title car with no prior accidents, ready to go, this with 100,000 miles, it should probably be somewhere around $40,000. I would put it like 42,000 with this kind of mileage. Now, if it ends up having a total loss, it's different than a salvage title, complete total loss vehicle, because it will still have a clean title, but a total loss history. It doesn't detract from the price as much as a complete salvage title vehicle. So if this car ends up being a salvage title, it's probably going to be somewhere in the area of like $28,000 to $32,000. There have been several sales over the last 2 years, 2024, 2025, of these cars with around 100,000 to 120,000 miles. They're selling in that range as well with a salvage title car. They're both black on black. The very recent ones were black on black interior, and one had 110,000, one had 130,000. So this has 100,000. And so maybe you could go a little bit higher, you go like 33, but that's a salvage title, perfectly repaired, needs nothing, ready to go. Now, if this car keeps a clean title, but has the total loss history, which is kind of where I think this is gonna go, maybe like mid-30s. But you have to think, if you're gonna buy this car, where do you need to be at? You probably need to be in like the $18,000 to $20,000 range, and I have a feeling it's gonna go a lot higher than that, as these cars typically at these type of auctions, people overpay for them, and then you're gonna see this car for sale for like $45,000 on Facebook Marketplace here in a couple months. That's probably what's gonna happen, and it's gonna sit there for a year or two, like the couple others that are sitting out there. They've been for sale for well over a year, if not 2 years for another one. So I think that this car, if you're gonna buy this, it's either a parts car, but the valuable parts are at the front. So, you know, you have to adjust down for that. The valuable parts, people want the GSF front end conversion, they want the grille, they want the headlights, of course the drivetrain, the seats. You know, if you look at it as a parts car, there's more than $20,000 worth of parts that you can get off of this car. And so that's something to look at too. However, as few of these cars that are left, and we're losing more every year, last year we lost almost 40 to salvage title or complete wreck or exporting, it's worth probably putting this one back on the road if you can stomach the cost to do it. Now, you have to get it cheap enough, as I said. Otherwise, financially, it just makes more sense for this to be a parts car. Service history. So this car is very well dealer serviced, and the first entry of note is February of 2016. It has paint protection film on it too, and in the photos, you can see it's got like partial paint protection film, which is the dealer installed PPF. So it's like a quarter hood, quarter fenders, full front bumper, headlights, things like that, but it has paint protection film on the front. So at least the surfaces that were not damaged, the paint should still be in really good shape. Probably has it on the mirrors too. April of 2018, the JLB recall and one O2 sensor, one oxygen sensor, was replaced due to a check engine light. May of 2018, the check engine light was on again, and they replaced the oil temperature sensor, not the oil pressure sensor. It said that the oil cooler was staying on C the entire time, and so the sensor went bad. Not unusual to see that happen. It's right at the bottom, right underneath, or right around where the oil filter is. And if it gets damaged or, you know, maybe pushed up, something could have gotten damaged there. March of 2019, new windshield, and they noted that the clear coat is coming off the front bumper. And I think maybe they're talking about not the clear coat, but the paint protection film, and they repaired it. So I don't think there was any paint work there, but again, it's kind of irrelevant at this point. July of 2019, the low pressure fuel pump was reprogrammed. Most of these cars have that done. September of 2019, the KLG was done. That is the GPS location reporting in the wrong place. Like you're on the main highway, it shows you off on the side. It corrects that. And they noted that the car was blowing hot air out of the vents. And so they said it's low on Freon. Well, the next event, October of 2019, they replaced one of the HVAC servos, and they reprogrammed the HVAC, the servo sweep, all of that. So that's another common thing that's done. But that also leads me, if you go back to the previous service, it probably wasn't really low on Freon. It was probably this HVAC servo that was acting up, which is a common issue on these cars. January of 2020, a brand new sunroof assembly, the entire assembly, due to a rattle. It was probably just the seal, $47 seal, but they spent all of this under warranty to drop the headliner, replace the entire sunroof assembly, like under warranty. That was probably a $4,000 or $5,000 replacement. Very expensive to do that. September of 2022, the vehicle was cutting off and overheating, plus steering codes. The steering codes may be related to the battery, but why was the vehicle cutting off or overheating? Was there any damage done? That would be a question, but a little cautious there. September of 2022 at 50,000 miles, replace the transmission. This car has a new transmission due to not shifting correctly. The car was under extended warranty, so that's probably why there was no hesitation to just go ahead and bill the extended warranty company and replace the transmission. You do not see transmission replacements in these cars very often, so there's usually an outside cause, like a rock hit the transmission external cooler on the passenger side and it started to leak out, overheat, and damage the transmission. Could be something like that, but mechanically, you generally, these AA80s, you don't see them fail very often, especially at 50,000 miles. March of 2024, 74,000 miles, they noted that the carbon fiber trim was delaminating, which of course they all do on these cars, but they tried to turn it in under the extended warranty, and they noted that it expired about 1 month prior, so it was denied, along with some damaged wheels, which is just cosmetic stuff, or bent. That was denied as well. July of 2024, 81,000 miles, the carbon fiber trim was inspected for Lexus corporate. So that's probably going along the lines of what I did with this one. Kind of had a back and forth with the customer satisfaction center, the customer service center. The first thing they tell you is take it to a dealer to go get it inspected, and then you start talking back and forth. So that's probably what went on here. They started this process. And for me, it took almost a year from start to finish to finally get it replaced and covered under Lexus, customer satisfaction. August of 2024, passenger door carbon fiber trim was delaminating, and it was replaced by Lexus authorization, and it has an authorization number, but at least it looks like they offered partial assistance to replace it, because these pieces are like $1,000+ a piece and a couple $100 in labor per piece to replace. So it looks like in this instance, it only took a month. So good on them, and at least one of the pieces got replaced. January of 2025, the sunroof was leaking, and it was causing water to leak down into the dash area and down onto the carpet. And they noted that the sunroof tube was broken and it was replaced, probably related to that sunroof replacement a couple years prior. May of 2025, 89,000 miles. They noted that the low pressure fuel pump was making noise, and they were going to return to figure out what was going on later. Must have not had time. August of 2025, they ordered a low pressure fuel pump. And also in August of 2025, it was damaged on the lot, and it doesn't say the details as to what, but obviously that is what this car is now at IAAI for. So the low pressure fuel pump was not replaced before this incident happened, but it was on order. So this car will at least need that. There's some issue going on with the low pressure fuel pump. What is not done? The remaining carbon fiber trim, you can see that the passenger side front one is definitely delaminating, probably others. The valley plate, as always, I don't see, this car's been mostly dealer service, so I think it's safe to assume the valley plate has not been done on it. 60,000 mile service, spark plugs, things like that. Don't see anything like that. The lower control arm bushings, the front tire wear, the usual things that you look at on these cars, but I think the two big ones on this one will be the valley plate and of course the low pressure fuel pump, along with any of the damage. So would I buy this car? Is it worth getting it back on the road? I think it is. If you can find some used parts that would help keep the price down, this definitely would be doable if you can get it at the right price. Now, the right price would probably be sub $20,000, because at the end of the day, this does have 100,000 miles on it. The repair cost, the big one is the grille and the headlight. The rest of, paint, bodywork, fenders, the fender and the bumper cover, those are cheap. Those are not expensive. The oil cooler assembly, if it's just the oil cooler that's leaking, you can see in the photos that there is some oil leaking on the ground there. The oil cooler assembly, the part is labeled as a bracket, and that, if you buy the assembly, it's like $700 to $900, but the bracket, which is the actual oil cooler assembly, is like $120, $130. So that would be the way to buy it if it's only the oil cooler. Oil cooler, fender, bumper, grille surround, grille, headlight. The hood looks okay. Is there any suspension damage? If that even pushed it in, it could have damaged the frame. That's the big gotcha on this. And so you really need to know what you're looking for. If it can be had cheap enough and you can use used parts, the grille's gonna be the hard part to find used. So this wasn't a huge, massive damage collision. It's just, it was hit in the wrong spot, and it's an expensive spot to replace because of that freaking grille. Just food for thought, but I think that it is worth looking at, worth considering. It has been in Maryland, so keep in mind the winters there, salt, things like that. So hopefully it's not too rusty underneath, but obviously do your due diligence on this car, and it may be worth bringing back. So anyway, that's what I've got for you guys. VIN 872. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you soon.